He said it casually, like he was asking me to pass the salt. You should pack tonight, my husband said, eyes fixed on his phone. My brother needs the house. He'll be gone by tomorrow. The room went quiet. Not dramatic quiet. The kind that tells you something inside has just cracked, clean and final. I stared at him. 10 years. A shared life. And he had already decided I was done living in it. I didn't scream. I didn't cry. I nodded. That's when he made his first mistake. I met him when I was 26. He was charming in a quiet way. Attentive. Safe. He listened like every word I said mattered. When he proposed, it felt like certainty. Like calm after chaos. We built that house together. Or so I thought. I put in the down payment. My savings. Years of working late. Skipping comfort. He promised we were partners. Equal. He insisted it was symbolic to put everything in his name. For simplicity, I believed him. Trust looks a lot like blindness when you're inside it. His brother moved in temporarily after a bad business deal. That temporary stretched into years. He drank our coffee, used our things, spoke to me like I was a guest. My husband changed then, became distant, defensive. He started whispering on calls, leaving rooms to answer messages. Small things, sharp edges. One night I saw a notification flash across his phone while he slept. Once the house is sorted, she's gone. No name, no context, but I knew exactly who he meant. I felt something settle inside me, heavy, cold, clear. I didn't confront him. I observed. I checked documents, old emails, bank records. I reread contracts I'd signed without question. I found what he assumed I'd never look for. The house wasn't just in his name. It was collateral. He'd leveraged it for his brother's failing business. Signed papers without telling me. Risked everything we had to save a man who wouldn't save himself. And he thought I was disposable. That night I stopped being his wife. I became his problem. I played my role perfectly. I packed a small bag, folded clothes calmly. I let him think he'd won. I let his brother smirk as he walked through rooms that weren't his. I moved into a friend's apartment and spent the night reading legal statutes instead of sleeping. Here's what my husband didn't know. That down payment I made years ago came with a paper trail. That the loan he took violated disclosure laws. That the power of attorney he used had expired 2 years earlier. He was standing on a structure built on lies. All I had to do was pull one thread. I filed an injunction before sunrise. I froze the asset. I contacted the bank. By noon, his brother's business account was locked. By evening, the house was under investigation. I waited. The next day, I returned to the house. Not to beg. To watch. My husband stood in the living room, pale. His brother was yelling at someone on the phone. Papers were scattered across the table. The smell of panic was thick. He saw me and rushed over. Hands shaking. Voice cracking. "Isn't this house mine?" he asked. The question wasn't for me. It was for himself. I laughed, not loud, just enough. I told him the truth. Slowly. Clearly. Like explaining a diagnosis. I told him the bank had voided the loan, that the forged extension on the power of attorney was criminal, that the house was now legally contested, that my initial investment gave me majority claim. I told him I'd filed for divorce, and fraud charges were pending. His brother backed away like the walls were closing in. My husband collapsed into a chair. Everything he'd built his authority on had just evaporated. The fallout was surgical. The house reverted to me after settlement. His brother lost his business. My husband lost his job when the investigation surfaced. He tried calling, texting, apologizing. I blocked him. I didn't need explanations. I already knew who he was. I sold the house 6 months later. Took my money. Bought a smaller place with windows that let in light instead of shadows. Sometimes I think about that moment. Him standing there asking if the house was his. He thought ownership came from a signature. He forgot it comes from truth. I didn't destroy him. I simply stopped protecting him from himself. And that was enough.